Well, hello everybody. Yeah, it's me, Dave Canyon. Welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. It is Wednesday, October 12th. I am headed home from work, 7:51 a.m. I should have been on the road 45 minutes ago, but I got caught up in a vortex with a fellow employee, and we got to talking. That is a big problem for me at the end of my day. I like to get home, so I just lost 45 minutes of potential sleep time. I can't do that to myself. I have to go home immediately, but I did not do that this morning. Anyway, welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth, as I record in my Kia Rio, my 2008 Kia Rio LX. I don't know what the LX stands for. But I'll give you the mileage report. It's only a few more miles than the previous episode. And that mileage report is brought to you by the people from ComedyPipe.com. ComedyPipe.com, as they produce a live internet radio show called Pipe Dream. I don't know why I'm stalling. Pipe Dream. Every Wednesday, wherever you are in the world, if it's Wednesday and it's 8 o'clock in New York State, it is time for Pipe Dream with 3D, Jefferson, and Joe Green. And the mileage in the Kia Rio today is 217,342 miles. That is the mileage report. Brought to you from the people who bring you Pipe Dream on ComedyPipe.com. Which I am on episode 198, and I think episode 177. And they're all archived. It's live when they do it, and then after it's done, it's usually about an hour, and then they archive it instantly. And you can see it on YouTube, and you could hear the stream on their website, ComedyPipe.com. So, yesterday I did episode 32. I didn't like the sound of it. So, this might be a replacement 32, or it might be 33. I'm going to listen to 32 again somewhere. So I know that nobody's listening to this, so it's kind of irrelevant to mention this, but I do it because I'm listening to it. I'm recording it and I'm listening to it. And I did 3. Did I say hello, dum-dums? Hello, dum-dums. Welcome to the Dumbcast. It's great to have you here. I just did 3 I Support Trump episodes in a row. It was I Support Trump Part 1, and then I didn't get to what I wanted to get to, so I made a Part 2, and then I think I pretty much got to it. So I completed Part 2, and I wasn't going to do a Part 3 at all. As you know, I don't plan the show. I just hit the record button, and I go for it. So it was after, I think, this Billy Bush bus recording, this whole controversy about these comments that Donald Trump was recorded saying. So you can't deny that he said it. But then he went on the debate, and he referred to it as locker room talk. So I guess I'll address that issue right now, and maybe the debate, because episode 31, which was I Still Support Trump Part 3, was before the debates. So the second debate. So let me and by the way, this is not a political show, but when politics happen, we'll talk politics. When other things happen, we'll talk about other things. I'll try to be as short and concise as possible, because there are other things. There's maybe some television stuff I want to talk about. Maybe there's just some other pop cultural thing or family thing I want to talk about. So let's see how this goes. I thought the debate number 2 was definitely intense. Well, let's go back before that. The comments that I think I might have addressed it in I Still Support Trump Part 3. The rude comments, they're offensive, I'm sure, and I can't judge, because he who cast the stone is the first sinner of this or that, or I can't live in glass houses and have stones thrown at me, or whatever that is. I can't do that. So I'm not perfect. I've said things, I've said offensive things. I've heard offensive things. I'm a truck driver. Before this, I was a bus driver. I've always worked with other men, and men are definitely vile. They say vile things. They say offensive things. They say stupid things. They say a whole bunch of things. Sometimes they say an intelligent thing. We're not all morons and idiots. And even the ones that aren't all morons and idiots, sometimes occasionally say something moronic and idiotic. It's just the way it goes. We just have that tendency. And I don't think women are immune from that. I've heard women say some dopey stuff, but they more often than not, a little, more mature. More often than not, I don't even know if I can qualify that. Maybe not. Whatever. I don't usually meet too many women who are as childish as men. Men have a tendency to be little boys that don't grow up. I don't know. I think in a different way. I'm sure if I can get a therapist, a psychologist guest, we could discuss it. And yeah, men mature in a particular way, and maybe women mature in another way. So so men can continue to be childish and say stupid things for a long, long, long time. We get a big kick out of it. I don't know how at what age. I'm 53 now. I don't know at what age the word poopy or poop will cease to be funny to me. And farting. Farting will be not funny to me when it's not farting anymore. When I can't be confident about my farting. And then, I don't have a sense of smell, so it doesn't bother me at all. And I always think the noise is funny. That noise, that's always funny. Listen, Norman Lear had Archie Bunker do that on All in the Family for how many years? When he didn't like something that was said, he would just go, it's a funny noise. Raspberry, right? Is that what they call it? Raspberry? Or something like that. Anyway, all right, but Donald Trump didn't make that noise. He said something, pretty vulgar, and he's being interviewed. He's on a bus. And you know what? You can't see his face. As somebody who's done stand-up comedy before, and who's doing a podcast right now, you can't see my face. So I'm wondering how many times in the first 31, 32 episodes I have said things that has been misunderstood by anybody who might have been listening. Well, Mark, you're the only one listening, so you're the one who has to figure it out. No, you don't have to do anything. But you understand what I'm trying to say? You don't see my face. You don't know. You don't get the full picture of the the face behind the words. So I have to be very descriptive. I have to be very I have to try to do what I do as well as I can do it, so you guys totally understand what I'm saying and where I'm coming from and where I'm going. And sometimes I'm a bit verbose, I think is the word. And I feel like I have to be, because I have to paint the picture with words. So anyway, that doesn't excuse Donald from what he said. But anyway, he did it. He said it. For me, it's a little bit of whoop-de-doo. Okay, he said it. It's what does that have to do with him being, running the country? Because he shows poor judgment. He didn't know. I'm not gonna say he didn't know he was being recorded. I'm sure he just momentarily forgot, or I've been mic'd before, and you got to remember that you're being mic'd. You just got to remember. When I've done a commercial, whatever, a couple of times I was mic'd. I had a whole pack attached to me, and you can't even mumble, because the sound guy who's got the headphones on, he hears everything. He hears your breathing, everything. So you can't just start talking to somebody and say things. They're listening all the time. You're doing a commercial. So he was doing some sort of whatever it is that he was doing back with Access Hollywood, back in the day with Billy Bush. By the way, Billy Bush, from what I understand, has been suspended for his actions that occurred 11 years ago. That's really ridiculous. NBC should not have suspended him, but whatever. I'm not going to do a show about Billy Bush, but that's typical overreaction, and whatever. I feel bad for Billy in that way. I could care less about Billy Bush, but the guy's got a job. He's moved up the ranks. He's paid his dues, and then he gets caught up in this political thing, which is, what does he care? 11 years ago, and now he's suspended. Who knows if they'll fire him? It's so ridiculous. I mean, what kind of a job does he have that he can't be involved in a vulgar conversation? It's not like he's running for president. It's ridiculous. So anyway, it would be kind of, would it be ironic that at the end of this, in spite of this this vulgar recording, Donald Trump becomes president and Billy Bush becomes unemployed. I mean, go figure if that's the way it turns out. But in the meantime, what do we care? And then the debate last week, this past Sunday, horrible. I mean, very intense, very uncomfortable. Probably the most intense debate I've ever. I haven't seen a lot of debates, but that was pretty intense. I didn't know, the way they were walking around. Donald was walking around on stage, and she was saying this about him, and he was saying this about her, and wow, it was pretty intense. But I still think both of them could have done a lot better, and I think they need to get rid of the audience altogether. Just get rid of the audience and just have a real debate. I was going to say just with the family, but I think that's a bad idea too. I'm curious to see if that would escalate into some sort of shouting match. But so I didn't learn anything again of either candidate. We're not getting anywhere with these debates. We're not learning anything. I think everybody, if you're undecided, I'm amazed how you could be undecided at this point. But then again, I shouldn't be, because I'm only deciding because of previous bias. I mean, I haven't liked Hillary Clinton for a very long time now, and I feel like there's been nothing but bad news about her for a long time now. And then that convention, and I did vote for Barack Obama in 2008, so I'm fully capable of voting Democratic, even though I'm a registered Republican. And I've been a registered Libertarian, and I have been a registered Democrat. So I'm fully able to vote for the best person I think that's qualified. I just don't think she is at all qualified. And if you listen, and I might have said this before in a previous podcast, if you listen to Hillary Clinton's husband, Bill Clinton, talk about Hillary during the Democratic National Convention, you will hear him talking about how good she is with kids and women. And basically at the end of the speech, I kind of thought he was rallying for her to be, the nation's babysitter, not the nation's president. She should be a babysitter. She should be a camp counselor. She should do things involving kids and mommies, because that's basically what Bill Clinton talked about the whole time he was up there. So, once again, she's the president's wife. I don't see how that qualifies her to be president. But whatever. I don't know how that qualified her to be a senator. I don't know how it qualified her to be Secretary of State. That's pretty big, Secretary of State. But that doesn't mean she shouldn't have done it. I don't see how it qualifies her. But I try to be open-minded enough to say, well, maybe it's better that you don't have somebody. Okay, I'm not going to say it's better to have somebody that's not qualified, but better to have, maybe it's okay, or it's better to have somebody from the outside coming into politics. I don't know. It seems like, I don't know. And that's what Trump is running on, that he's an outsider, that he's not a politician. But he has run corporations. He has run businesses. So I think when you're in charge, once you're in charge, you know how to be in charge. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think that makes sense. If you're in charge, then you know how to be in charge. Maybe that's naive thinking, but I don't think it is. If you know how to be in charge, then you know how to be in charge. Whether it's politics or for-profit. I don't know what for non-profit is like, but anyway, so there's that. I still throw my support to Trump. I want him to take a different approach to becoming president. In other words, now the latest news is Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, is not going to support him or campaign for him. And Donald Trump is saying that's good. The shackles are off. I can now run my campaign the way I want to. And I say, yeah, he's got to remind everybody he's the outsider. And everybody is status quo. That's why they're terrified of him. And that's why they're acting the way they do. Not so much because of what he says and what he does, because they just don't want the status quo interrupted. And Hillary's another 8 years of status quo. The same or worse. You know? But he's got to really harp on that. Not so much the Supreme Court justices and all that other stuff, because that scares people away. And he's got to show more empathy. Way more empathy. So, anyway. So there's that. That's it for politics. Enough of that already. It's like 4 episodes out of the last 5. Or I can't remember. So, I watched another episode of Kevin Can Wait with Kevin James. So my wife and I think I've seen 3 out of the first 4. We missed last week's. Well, I mean, 2 weeks ago. We saw last week's. And 2 weeks ago, we didn't see it. And you know what? I think our verdict is already in after 4 episodes. This ain't any good. This is a lot of forced bad jokes, ridiculous premises, and very little character development. You really, Kevin James basically plays a jerk in the show. He plays a jerk. It's like he was a little bit of a jerk in King of Queens, but he was very funny and authentic, and he was also often very sensitive. In this particular show, he's just a jealous jerk, and it's not good. He's very smug and a jerk, and he treats everybody very badly. His kids are funny in the show. They actually had some good lines. I think they need to focus in more on these kids. Usually I'd say stay away from the kids, but they're not that young. And the oldest daughter has some issues. It's kind of funny. She's a little bit of a terror. And the boy is, like the apple didn't fall far from the tree. And I like that they're interrupting him. I don't care for the oldest daughter and that dopey boyfriend. That whole storyline is not for me, and I don't care for the oldest daughter. I just think it's just not working for me. But I like the 2 younger kids. So, and I think that's what's great, is that he thinks he's going to retire and have fun, and meanwhile now he's involved in this other stuff. Well, anyway, and then I don't like his friends either in this. His friends aren't well thought of characters. So you got to give these things time, but 4 episodes in, I got to give it a thumbs down. Can I be more patient and give it a thumb sideways? Yeah, I could. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a sitcom, but it's like the worst type of sitcom. They're really forcing jokes and lines, and it's just not natural. King of Queens kind of felt natural. Anyway, and of course, he comes with this whole King of Queens thing, so you're expecting Arthur to come up from the basement, and you want to see Leah Remini, you want to see Carrie Fetterman. And he had a good supporting cast. His buddies and that were funny. And his working at IPS was funny. Here, he's not even working anywhere. He's a retired cop. Although I'm sure they'll do flashbacks and stuff like that. So, anyway, I give it a thumbs down, a thumbs sideways for now. All right. 18 minutes. You know what? I got nothing else in my mind. What else? Baseball playoffs? I could care less. I'm watching Luke Cage. The Marvel superhero Luke Cage on Netflix. What am I, like 5 or 6 episodes in? Yeah, it's okay so far. Not great. Interesting, but I'm leaning more towards bailing than I am towards watching. So that's it. I'm leaning more towards bailing out as opposed to watching it. Just not that great. It's good, just not that great. So let's see where they go with this. They got an interesting cast. They've killed off a couple of people, which is surprising and interesting. That nobody's safe. So that's kind of good. You want to have a little question other than the star of the show. You want to have a little doubt as to who's going to live and die. Otherwise, it's just too safe. And what do they care? I mean, it's just Netflix, and it's it's a lesser known superhero. You just might as well just go crazy, pull out all the stops. What are you saving it for? You got a cast member that you like, and you got to kill them off. You kill them off. You find another cast member to do something else. I don't know. Who am I to say? All right, it's a beautiful day. I hope the sound is better in this one than it was in the last one. I don't know if I'm holding the phone too close. I got the sock on for the P blocking. So this might be episode 33. It might be episode 32. We'll find out. I have nothing else to talk about. All right, that's it. Short one. See, sometimes we do a short one. All right, everybody. As soon as I hang up, I'm sure I'll think of a million things. Football? No. Sports? No. Politics? Forget it already with that. Yeah, neither one of them say, hello, United States. I got something I want to tell you. I don't know why they don't. They talk to the reporters. They don't talk to the country. I don't like that. This weird presidential election. What's going to happen? I'm so afraid of the aftermath of whoever wins and the other one loses, what this country's going to be like. But I expect it to be peaceful. Oh, look at that, a yawn. But you never know. All right, guys. Great talking to you. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. Don't forget Comedy Pipe and Pipe Dream, Wednesdays, 8 o'clock. Anywhere you are in the world. If it's Wednesday at 8 o'clock in New York State, it's time for Pipe Dream. All right. Goodbye. Good day. Good night. Goodbye. Good luck. Good riddance. Godspeed. And great skills. Take care.